Harihi Om. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryan Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhi Tamastoma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, chapter 44, Panic Among the Kauravas. So, Sanjaya has already talked to to Dhritarashtra, but he didn't tell him what the message was, because that's for the assembly the next morning. But he did chastise him for that he's becoming the cause for the war, because he was trying to say, oh no, we want peace. If there is a war, it's all Yudhishthira's fault. And then Vidura came and also told him so many things, and like that. And so now it's the next morning has come, and now it's time for the assembly. Duryodhana had risen early on the day of the assembly. He knew Sanjaya was going to deliver Yudhishthira's message. After performing his morning ablutions and receiving the worship and praise of the palace Brahmins and bards, the prince met with Shakuni and Karna. He expressed his determination not to return to Pandava's kingdom. His friends agreed and cheered him. They encouraged him to remain firm and assured him that his old father, bound by ties of affection, would not force him to return Indraprastha if he was resolute. That means if Duryodhana is, fixed in it, then his father, due to attachment, he won't push the issue. So they're based on the thing is that somehow or another they're still under the illusion that they're strong enough to beat the Pandavas in a battle, even though they've been beaten so many times. But this is illusion. As they spoke, the three men slowly made their way to the assembly hall, which shone like the Himavat mountain in the early morning twilight. Dhritarashtra entered the hall at the head of all other kings. Led by Vidura, he made his way to his throne. The floor in the hall had been sprinkled lightly with perfumes and spread with flower petals. The kings took their places on seats made of carved ivory and wood, decorated with gold inlays and precious stones. As they settled into the silk cushions, they looked around to see who was present. Immediately surrounding Dhritarashtra were Vidura, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Shalya, Kritavarma, Jayadratha, Bahlika, Somadatta, Ashwatthama, as well as Duryodhana and his 100 brothers. The chamber, filled with so many heroes, seemed like a cave full of lions. The illustrious men, with their bright silks and gold ornaments, lit up the hall and appeared like an assembly of the gods. When everyone was seated, the doorkeeper announced that Sanjaya had arrived and was waiting to deliver his message. Dhritarashtra gave permission for him to enter the hall. Right, because the kings are there. And so they maybe have business or that, or want to take care of certain things. So then, if someone wants to speak, in other words, bring something to the attention of the kings assembled there in the court, then they should have permission to come in. Because if they're busy with something else, then that they should wait until that's finished. Otherwise, then how will the previous case won't get proper attention, nor will their case, because if someone else comes in, they'll stop his case for a different one. So then it'll just be the etiquette. Sanjaya, his gold earrings swinging, bowed at Dhritarashtra's feet. Folding his palms, he faced the assembly and said, "O sons of Kuru, I have just returned from the Pandavas. Those virtuous men salute you all, each according to your age and status. Hear now the messages they have sent through me." Sanjaya carefully relayed Yudhishthira's message exactly as he had heard it. Either the Kurus should return to Pandava's kingdom, or even just 5 villages, or there would be war. Dhritarashtra said nothing. He looked pensive. After some moments, he said, "I wish to hear Arjuna's message, for it is from him that we face the greatest danger. Krishna's friend Arjuna is immeasurably powerful and has suffered at our hands. Tell me, Sanjaya, what did Dhritarashtra, the destroyer of sinful men, say?" Right, so Yudhishthira says, okay, he says that. Okay. He can say, whatever he feels. But then the point is he's not the threat. Right? The threat is Arjuna. So then, what did Arjuna say? Sanjaya bowed his head to the king and remained standing. These were the words of the wrathful Arjuna, who was eager to fight and who, with reddened eyes, spoke in the presence of Yudhishthir and Krishna. Summoning the mood in which Arjuna had spoke, right? So here is that even how the mood that it was delivered, then they try to give that. Because then, for the kings who know diplomacy, they'll know when to speak very gently, or to speak strongly, or to speak, in a very conciliatory way, or whatever it is. So he tries to have that same mood. But of course, Arjuna is Arjuna, but he says he tries his best. Sanjaya delivered his exact words. Speak to Dhritarashtra's son in the midst of the Kurus, and in the hearing of the wicked-minded Karna, who always desires to fight, speaks harshly, has a dull intellect, and is extremely ignorant. To the point. His time has come. Speak also in the presence of those kings who have come from around the world to fight the Pandavas. If Duryodhana does not surrender Yudhishthir's kingdom, then it is clear that he desires to pay for his former antagonism towards us, right? So if they give the kingdom back, they won't deal with the antagonization that they were given, and went through at the hands of Duryodhana. They'll just let bygones be bygones. They'll take their kingdom, they'll do their things as their Kshatriyas, take care of the people. Duryodhana does his. But if he doesn't give back, then naturally it goes back to what they've done before at their gambling match and at all other points whenever he could. Like that. If he chooses battle, then our ends will be achieved. Tell him not to choose peace, but to choose to fight with me and Bhima, Nakula and Sahadev, Satyaki and Drishtadumna, and Shikandi. I look forward to it. So he's saying, no, don't choose peace. Choose war. I'm looking forward to meeting you in battle. Although we have lain on a bed of woe these last 13 years, let Dhritarashtra's son, when he lies dead on the battlefield, attain a bed of endless woe. He could never conquer the virtuous Yudhishthir in a fight, therefore resorted to trickery and deceit. Pandu's eldest son, whose senses and mind are fully under control, has patiently endured all this suffering. When he directs his anger against the Kauravas, then will Duryodhana have cause to repent. Duryodhana sneered as Sanjaya continued. Arjuna described how he envisioned the war between them taking place. As a blazing fire in the summer consumes dry grass, so will the Kauravas' army be consumed even by Yudhishthir's glance. When Duryodhana sees the ironclad Bhima on his chariot, mace in hand, and vomiting the venom of his wrath, then he will repent of this war. When that exceedingly vain one sees Bhima felling elephants by the thousands, their warriors dispatched to the next world, then he will repent. When Nakula comes down from his chariot, clutching his sword, and raising warriors as if they were a field of corn, then will the wicked one repent. When Sahadev chops off heads of kings with his well-aimed arrows, and then finally encounters the vicious Shikandi, then will Duryodhana repent. One by one, Arjuna mentioned all the great warriors who would fight for the Pandavas, describing how they would wreak vengeance on the Kauravas. Drishtadumna would kill Drona, and Shikandi would slay Bhishma. Bhima had already vowed to slay Duryodhana and all his brothers. Arjuna would destroy warriors by the tens of thousands. Finally, he would kill Karna and all his sons and followers. Arjuna painted a grim picture of the war's outcome, which he saw ending in the total annihilation of Duryodhana's forces. Finally, he spoke about Krishna. Right? So this is, he's speaking from the reality. Duryodhana, Karna, and they're just talking on the platform of what they think could happen. No, we'll be successful. We're more powerful. They're nothing compared to us. That Arjuna is showing exactly what will happen on the battlefield. Because he knows war. These others, they may be trained in war, but they're not actually as experienced. So now about Krishna. I have selected Krishna as my charioteer in preference to Indra and his thunderbolt weapon. If Krishna desires someone's victory, even if he himself does not fight, that person cannot fail. Our victory will be easy. Whoever desires to overpower Krishna wishes to swim the unfathomable ocean, to put out a blazing fire with his two hands, or to stop the sun and moon in their course through the heavens. That best, and these are just examples. It's actually much greater than that. It's just to give us some idea. That best of men, the Lord of all the worlds, has already slain demons more powerful than Duryodhana, even the invincible Naraka, son of the earth, who could very easily withstand the gods in battle, succumb to Krishna's irresistible weapons, right? So Naraka could deal with the gods in battle. Duryodhana was easily defeated by Gandharvas, not even the Indra and his host. Duryodhana desires to defeat Krishna, who is the supreme Vishnu, either by capturing him or by winning him over to the Kaurava side. That fool will soon realize his ignorance. Through their spies, the Pandavas were aware of the Kaurava strategies. Arjuna knew that Duryodhana feared Krishna, was thinking of how to deal with him. The Kaurava prince was even considering capturing him when he came to Hastinapur on his peace mission. Arjuna ended his speech by describing the omens he saw. Without my touch, the Gandiva bow stretches. The arrows move out of their quiver on their own accord. My polished sword leaps from its scabbard. Near my banners I heard, when will your chariot be yoked, O Kiriti? At night, crowds of jackals howl gleefully, and vultures and crows descend from the sky. All these signs indicate carnage. These omens will prove true when I hurl my celestial weapons in all directions. I will leave no trace of the Kaurava army. O Sanjaya, tell this to Duryodhana in the hearing of the king, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and the wise Vidura. I will surely act as these elders say. Let them check the evil Duryodhana, or let the war begin. So his point is, this is what will happen. So either the elders, they check him and that, or this is what's going to happen. Yeah, let the war begin. Because his whole point is, they talk so big, enough talk. Let the war begin. We'll see how things are going to go down. The assembly was silent. Duryodhana looked nonchalantly around the hall, smirking, right? He's just an idiot. Karna fumed, right, because his delicateness had been, and clutched his ivory-hilted sword. Seeing Duryodhana's indifference, Bhishma addressed him gravely. O prince, listen as I recount an ancient history. Once all the gods went to visit Brahma. Arriving at his abode, they saw two beautiful, blazing personalities, illuminating even that shining region by their splendor. Brahma told the gods that these were Nara and Narayana rishis. They were forever practicing asceticism for the good of the worlds, and they lived to destroy the demons. The gods had come to Brahma out of fear of the Asuras and headed by Brihaspati. They approached those two rishis and begged them to help them defeat their enemies. Assisted by Nara and Narayan rishis' invincible power, the gods triumphed over the Asuras. Now those two rishis among the gods have appeared as Krishna and Arjuna. Such is the general belief. Arjuna has already shown his prowess by slaying thousands of demons in the celestial realm, right? There were 60,000 of them, right? That the demigods couldn't defeat. The son of Vasudeva has also killed innumerable demons. Together they have vanquished the gods at Khandava, and together they will fight us. Because at Khandava, then they came to fight, and they actually, just the two of them, just Arjuna fighting and Krishna driving the chariot, they already defeated them, and they decided it wasn't worth it. Right? Means they couldn't beat Arjuna, and they could see as spending any time longer, they're just going to lose men. So they can't win, so then better to leave. So these things have already happened. That Duryodhana, due to Maya's illusory energy, he can't keep any of this within his mind. His greed, his lust is so great, he becomes so blinded. So together they have vanquished the gods at Khandava. And that was just recently, right? And together they will fight us. Bhishma looked penetratingly at Duryodhana, who moved uncomfortably on his throne. He did not want to hear about his enemy's power. Anyway, why should he worry? He thought of the Danavas' assurances, but what he didn't catch was the Danavas are assuring, but those same Danavas were defeated by Narayan Rishi. And remembered how they would possess his forces. Soon he would be seeing a different Bhishma, and soon the Pandavas would be facing an army more powerful than they had anticipated. What I also phrase, okay, the demons are here, but they don't have all the weapons that Arjuna has. He has all the celestial weapons, not just one or two. Bhishma concluded his speech. Nara and Narayana repeatedly take birth in this world to annihilate the miscreants and demons. It was Narada Rishi who told us this. O child, when you see these two seated on the same chariot, armed for battle, then you will remember my words. By desiring to fight with them, you have lost sight of both virtue and profit. right? He doesn't know what's the right thing to do because he's going against all virtue by having stole their kingdom, won't give it back, he won't deal in any way appropriately. Everything he does is against religion, so he's not following virtue here. And, what was it? And profit, he doesn't see is that profit means you gain something, not that you, all your brothers, everybody that you know, anyone connected is destroyed, and there's no one left. That's not exactly what you call profit. Do not encounter them in battle. If you ignore my advice, you will see your warriors slain. And he's not worried. That's the problem is, Duryodhana isn't worried if everyone gets slain. As long as the end of the day, when the dust settles, he's still sitting on the throne and the Pandavas are defeated. That's all that matters to him. So for others, they're worried, so many people will be killed and this and that. Duryodhana doesn't, he loses no sleep at night over that one. But it seems that you will only listen to the advice of three persons. Karna, who is the son of Asuta, right? Because when he behaves badly, then he's behaving like the son of Asuta. When he acts gloriously, then you see he's a Kshatriya. And has been cursed by his guru, right? So technically when push comes to shove, he won't be able to use his knowledge. He has so much knowledge, they says, like Arjuna. And on one level he does. He doesn't have all the celestial weapons and all this, but he has, good skills. But it's said that he'll lose all that when he really needs it. Right? When it comes down to he either uses this or dies, that's when he can't use it. So then what will that do for you? The cunning Shakuni and your small-minded brother Dushasana. He only listened to these. Karna was already seething from Arjuna's speech. Now he was infuriated, springing to his feet. Right? He always does this. Whenever Bhishma speaks, because he speaks truth and he's powerful, Karna always gets upset and jumps up and says this and that and insults him. He explained, "It is unfair that you speak of me in such a way, O grandfather. I follow a Kshatriya's duties and have not abandoned virtue." Yeah, he does the duties and all that, but his attitude is technically that of a Sutta. "Why do you always revile me? I wish only for the Kuru's good. Dhritarashtra's sons are honestly ruling the world. Why should they give the kingdom to their enemies?" Right? They're honestly ruling the world, but how are they honestly ruling the rule? By dishonestly taking it. All they have to do is give Yudhishthira back his kingdom and he'll just manage his own kingdom. So how is he enemies? They're family. Right? So that's the whole point. That's why he's saying you're a sutta. You're thinking so much on the bodily platform without virtue. Yeah, how it means, yes, you'll get up, you'll give in charity, you do all the things, you do everything else that a Kshatriya does. But on this level, you're not actually very qualified. To serve Dhritarashtra, I will slay the Pandavas in battle. Karna roared and then took his seat. Bhishma looked at him sadly. Yeah, it means after all that, he's just told who you're dealing with, and all they care about is their own. Why you insult me? I'm here just for it's. Karna's speeches are always about Karna. Right? Bhishma's speech is about what will be for others. He's not talking about. Has Bhishma ever mentioned his own prowess? He could defeat anyone in that room himself. He's more powerful than anyone. He's half demigod. So he's like the Pandavas. He's closer to the Pandavas than he is to any of them there. Now, anyone in that room, no match for him. He never mentions himself. Karna always mentions himself. Every time. That's why they call him son of a Sutta. Not that they don't accept him as a Kshatriya and doing Kshatriya duties, but by mentality, by guna, by karma, he can do perfectly the Kshatriya duties. And certain aspects, the guna is there. But there's a weakness in his character that he's so self-centered that he always mentions himself. Why do you always insult me? Why is it, but why is it about him? It's about the whole Kshatriya race is about to be destroyed because this kid is so envious and so jealous and no good qualities. And it's going down that path. And so he's trying to point out, otherwise, as Kshatriyas, they'll go out there and fight and die. They don't have a problem. Bhishma looked at him sadly. Then, turning towards Dhritarashtra, said, "O king, although this Sutta's son brags of his power, he is not even a 16th part of the Pandavas." Right? While they before had said, Karna had said, they're not even the 16th part of Duryodhana, even though that 16th part alone defeated Karna twice on the battlefield and Duryodhana twice on the battlefield. Right? you should know that this fool is largely responsible for this calamity about to befall your sons. And so, he's pointing out that if Karna hadn't been encouraging in that, plus he insulted, he brought up the idea of Draupadi. He harassed them. While they were leaving, he harassed them more. These are all like low-class Kshatriyas don't do this. Demons do it, kids do it, low-class people do it, but they always claim, no, we're such high-class Kshatriyas. No, they're not. They have some of the skills and prowess, but the character, they don't have. They don't even have the character of an ordinary citizen in Hastinapur. They'll have more character than these people, like that. So now, continuing with his speech, we will see next time. Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.